So we need to create a database for our store that is going to have all of our products and our settings and everything else, and it's going to save that for us. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to log into our cPanel account, or it might be called a hosting login or control panel. Your hosting company will give you the login information. It's usually just your domain name and then a slash and then CPANEL, just like right up here. It'll bring you to a login screen. You log in and that will bring you to a screen that looks like this. We need to go down to where it says My SQL Databases and click that. We need to create a database for our store. Now in this case, I'm just going to give it a whatever name that I want here, and I'm going to create database. Now the information that you use to create your database, you're going to want to write it down. Okay, now we need to go and we need to create a user. So I'm going to actually use the same name for my user as I used for my actual database. And then we need to create a password. So we can just click on the password generator. It'll give us a password. We're going to copy that down. And then you're going to check the box that says I've copied this password in a safe place and click use password. And then we click create user. Now, when we go back, there's one more step, and that is we need to actually add that user to the database. So now we're going to go down here to where it says add user to database, and we're going to find the database we just created and the user we just created, and we're going to click add. And then it's going to ask us about the privileges. We want to make sure that we check the box that says all privileges at the top. And then we click make changes. And that's all there is to it. Now what's important is you need to have your password written down. You also need your username and your password and your database name. And that's this entire thing here. Okay, so it's that with the underscore and the name that you chose. So you want to take that and paste it into a Word file for both your user, which is right here, without the quotes, and then your database, which is right here. And then, of course, you've already copied down your password. We're going to need those three pieces of information when we go to install our store. So when we have the database set up and we have the files set up, we're just going to go to wherever we installed the store. In this case, I did it at my website and then the particular folder. So I type that into the web browser, and it's going to bring me up to the install screen that looks like this. The next thing is I'm going to click continue. And it's going to go ahead and check and make sure that all of my settings are compatible with the software. These are all green checks, so that's good. These are all writable, so these are all good. If any of these are red X's, you want to make a note of what they are. You can still try to install it, but make a note of what things had the red X because you may need to have some settings changed at your hosting account. But if you use HostGator or a normal standard hosting account, this should work for you. Okay, so then we're going to go to continue. And then this is where we need to input our information for configuration. Anything that's already listed, just leave it the way that it is. What we want is our database username. And remember, that is that whole thing with the underscore and the prefix to it as well. Then we want our database name. And then we want to paste in our password. Okay, so now we've got all of our database information here. Now down here, this is your store information. So you can put whatever username and whatever password you want right here. And then you could put in an email address to get notified if there's any issues with your store or whatever. The software will kick out notifications to you. Okay, so that's all we need to do. And then we click continue. And it's installing our store for us. Now it's totally done. We can go to visit the shop or we can go to our administrative panel. But one other thing we need to do is we have to make sure that we delete the install directory. So we're going to go back to FileZilla or whatever program you use to upload the files. And we're going to find the entire folder that says install, and we're just going to click delete. That's so no one will be able to overwrite your store and mess it up for you. And that's all there is to it. It's totally installed. If you just click on log into your administration. It brings you to the admin login. You can log in with the admin username and password you created, and you can also preview your shop. And that's all it takes to install Shop